Hi, I would like to take a few minutes to give you some help on pages 20 to 22. So today we're going to talk about slope, and our goal is that we can find the slope of a line. Now, to start with, let's refresh from last week. We talked about positive and negative slopes and positive and negative associations. So I left two of these for you to click and drag, um, so you'll know which one is positive, which one's negative. But I did go ahead and do the middle two for you. This one has a zero slope. Think about if you were trying to run, it is easier to run when it is flat. So that has zero slope. Now this is so steep that you can't even describe it. So this would be undefined. And so when we have a slope of zero, it's flat, and then undefined slope is straight up and down. Okay, so horizontal line is zero, vertical line undefined, and then you can put the positive and negative where it goes. Now down here, just a little, there's nothing to do here except for you to just start getting used to how we're going to find slope. If we have 1 point, so you'll see this says x1, y1, this is x2, y2. Well, what you're doing to find slope is it's the change in y over the change in x, or it's rise over run. And that's what we use here, rise over run. And so to find the slope of this line, if we're starting at -2, -1, and we want to go to 4, 3, we're starting here. The y is a -1, and so we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4. So it went up 4, and then it went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, it went up 4 over 6. Since this has a positive slope, it would be 4 over 6, which then you can simplify to be 2/3. So the slope of this one would be 2/3. So let's try a couple examples down here. I've done the first two with you on this page, and I'll explain, and then you'll be able to do 3 and 4 on your own. So on the first one, what you're doing is if you have a point here and a point here, you're gonna count how many you go up. So you're gonna go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you go right 2, 1, 2. So then it becomes the fraction 4 over 2, which can be simplified to be 2 or 2 over 1. Now you look from left to right, this one's going up, so it's positive, so you'll want to make sure your answer is positive. On this one, if we use these 2 points right here, I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I go left 1. Now, since I'm going left, that's backwards, and so it's a positive 3 over a -1. And then when you simplify that, you would get -3. It is okay for slopes to be fractions. It is not okay for them to be mixed numbers. So if you get an improper fraction when you find the slope, just keep it improper. Don't worry about making it a mixed number. Okay, and then when we look over on page 21, so make sure you finish page 20, and then going over to page 21, and if you want to pause now to finish 20, go for it. When we're looking at an equation and we are trying to find the slope, it is the number in front of x. So in this case, 2/3 is the number in front of x, so 2/3 is the slope. On this one, you can see there is the number in front of x, that's the slope. There's the number in front of x, that's the slope. So you'll just type those in there. Now, when you're looking at a table, there are two different tables here. I chose to do the orange one just because it's a little harder than the blue one. But what it is, remember how we're doing slope is rise over run. Well, y is your rise. And so the first thing you want to do is see how much do your y's change. And so if it's at 8250, and this is 4125, you could just do some subtraction here. And when you subtract it is 4125. And then how much does your x change? I don't know why that says 5 right there. That's weird. Your x change is 5. So then you would have 4125 over 5, which equals 825. So the slope of this table, The rate of change of this table would be 825. So again, change in y, it changed 4125. Change in x, it went up 5. When you divide, you get 825. Now, when you're down here, so go ahead, maybe pause and go ahead and do the blue graph. And then when you're down here, you are comparing a graph and a table. So you have this graph, which does not represent this table. So the first thing you're going to do is you want to find the slope of each. So go ahead, find your rise over your run. Now keep in mind, this says 30, this says 60. So don't just count the grid that you're going up, count the numbers. So it's like you're starting at 30, going up to 60. Okay, so you're going to find the slope of this one and find the slope of this one. And whichever one has the biggest slope, that's your greatest speed. So I put little hints over here. You will actually do the math to tell me the slope of both of them and which one is the faster of the two. On page 22, we're going to work on some more toolkit words. And so the words this week, line of best fit, linear association, positive slope, negative slope, nonlinear association, slope intercept form, slope, undefined slope, and zero slope. Slope, 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 right? So we're going to look at all of those slopes and all of these toolkit words. Keep in mind that mathisfun.com dictionary is a great place for you to start. You have the letters here. You can click on what letter you want to find. And you're like, oh, hey, look, there's slope. And then it's going to give you a definition and it's going to give you an example. You will use this to help with your toolkit words. If you get it to a toolkit word and you can't find it on mathisfun.com, feel free to Google it. They're math words, so use the definition that makes sense in math. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.